Hey guys, welcome to tonight's stream. Hi there, Why My Gamer, live 2. How are you doing? Hope you're well this evening. And I've got a couple of little things to do before we begin. For anybody that was watching earlier, look what I got working. Particle lights. Anybody that was watching earlier in the day will have noticed or have seen my fight with a Niagara particle system, converting it over from Cascade and then getting it to actually fire light. A few button presses and switching things about seemed to do the job. Now I've just got to do a couple of things here and we'll get on. If there's anything you guys want me to explain or work on tonight or whatever, it's a Saturday night, we're taking it easy, we'll do that. If not, I'll just muck around doing other things, I suppose. So, with that in mind, we'll get the background music on. And we'll get on with it. Hi there, Why My Gamer Live 2. So, you can see that we now have this emitter working properly. Although the smoke, hey, quit abandoned, how you doing, bud? They're quite no, they quite abandoned. This, you'll notice that this, the smoke and the embers are firing above where they should. Right? So, what we're going to do is right, that's scale. And what's that going to do? Tutorial of Unreal Engine for beginners. What do you mean by that? A tutorial of what? Right, so cylinder height midpoint. We'll say 0.2. .1. That's not really moving it, is it? I'm not 100% sure of what you want. Emitter state. An Unreal Engine course. I don't really do that. It would be a massive, it would be a decade-long trilogy. It wouldn't be a trilogy, it would take forever. Right, this cylinder location. And this is the embers. So it's kind of like right, there's the particles there. That's particle acceleration and not position. Initialize particle position mode. Right, this might be better. Right, so this is the blow embers, right? So I wonder if we set that to -10. Initialize particle position. So that should be it. Right. -100. That does work. Right, wait a minute. That's just the wrong thing. That's 0 and 5. Right? So on the initialize, where's the position? That's the sprite size and sprite. We need to set the position here. And we're not doing simulate position. We're doing that. Right. -20 to 1. There we go. -20 to -10. Right, so you can see the effect. Well, actually you can't, but anyway. Don't know why the smoke's not working. What you working on? We're working on Zorchi. You will notice that we have light. Incredibly super duper light. We should have smoke as well. You can see that we've got smoke there. Alright, I might need to bring it in again. But we've worked out getting these embers and stuff in the right place, right? We switch this on and random range vector, and we say minus 20, minus 10, right? And because we've changed them, we're going to have to bring them back in again, which is fine. And now for the fire top, what I'm going to do is minus 5, 5, minus 5, 5, right? So we save that, we'll compile it, right? Then we'll go to our new blueprint, and we'll press play from here. Right, so Why My Gamer Live 2 wants a complete Unreal Engine course, which I'm afraid he's not going to get. It's Saturday night, Zorky, so do you want to see anything in particular? I don't know why we're not getting smoking shit. BP fire. Right, that's okay, we're not worried about that. Right. It's maybe because this is too close to the thing. Apparently not. Okay, whatever. Right, I'll tell you what. We'll drag this in. Alright. And we'll play for here. I think these aren't on an infinite loop. Right, the smoking stuff isn't on an infinite loop. Right? And that's why it's not doing the infinite loop thing. Right. Let's have a look at this one, because this one's okay, right? self-complete infinite. That's self-complete infinite. So that should be okay. Well, I've got no idea why those other ones aren't working. This one is, because we're getting the light off of this one. And these have all got spawn rates as well, so there's no reason why these should not be working. They're working here. Right, you can see that's looking good, right? But for some reason, right, we'll delete that because we don't need it. And we've got another one somewhere that we don't need. Delete that. Right. Drag him down. Tidy that up. Right. So what we got here? What we've got is, for some reason, look, behavior infinite. Right, that is totally bizarre. That's got the light renderer again. Right, let's have a look to see if it's something to do with this. Right. So we're deleting that. And we only leave on the distortion, so that's fine. No, because they're set to loop. They're set to like continuously spawn. Right, you can see in here the loop behavior infinite. Right, so it just keeps spawning them. Right. Delete that. Alright, it's only for some reason the smoke and whatever isn't actually working. Now, there's an interesting thing. Right. Why? What's this thing? What's these keyframes for? That's the question. Right. And just wondering what difference that makes, if any. Which it shouldn't. Right, but for some reason right, let's have a look. How bizarre is that? No, because remember, it was working earlier. Right? It was all fine earlier. And for some reason, it's just decided I'm not going to work anymore. Now, if we look at it there, it looks as if we do have other stuff. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I thought it was maybe because I'd set the position. But you'll notice that there's other, these, right? And we can't see those either. Right, so that's a bit weird. All in all. Right. Right, I'm going to leave that for now. Right, is there anything you want to see, Zorky? Because I can only work on, I've been working on this while I've been off stream, and I've pretty much had enough of it for now. I don't know why it's doing that. It might need a restart. I don't know. I'll tell you what I could do. Right, what we'll do is... No, I haven't got any Easter eggs yet. I don't know if it'll actually have Easter eggs, well, or Easter eggs in the traditional game sense of the word. I think it will have secrets because there are secret places you can get to, you know, that are off the beaten track. Right? But I wouldn't necessarily call them Easter eggs. Right, so yeah, it does, but it's too big to play around in, I'm afraid. And we need to get our cascade. Bonfire 3 instance. Ah, wait a minute, wait a minute. You know what it might be? It can't be that, really. Right. Now, what happened earlier was, there was a problem. I deleted this by accident. Right. Now, what we want to do is make sure we get the right one again. Right. So, where did I see that? Ah, here. Bonfire 3 instance. And flame, it's 06 smoke instance. Where is it? 06 smoke instance, so that's alright. Right, that should be set 6 and 6. Right. You know what? That might be 0. And 35. If we set it to infinite again, right? Compile it. Drag it in here. And we still get no smoke. Tis bizarre. Yeah, you're right, Rogden, but the problem is that it would work to some degree. The problem is that it's not shown any now. Now notice, it's actually doing the light thing, right? So we've got the light thing, but we've screwed up the other thing. Could do, but it's not going to do anything because basically it shows here. And maybe I'm just being completely stupid. and it's basically not showing any of the stuff anymore for some reason. Right, so there's smoke. Right, and now we're getting nothing. So it's basically poop. I'm going to try something, right? Nah, 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 nah. Oh, I hate it when it's bizarre, is what it is. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to save all. I'm going to close it. Yeah, that's all well and good, but the problem is, Bogdan, that we've done all that. It was working earlier, except the light wasn't working, even though I didn't do anything different or complicated. And then suddenly all the sub emitters aren't working for some unknown reason. And I also added a fountain, which was this one. So I've done exactly what you are saying, and it still didn't work. So yeah. And Niagara doesn't distance cull. You've got to set it up in the scalability. So it ain't that either. LODs don't exist in Niagara. So taint that. We didn't want to do that. So yeah, it ain't LODs. Because they don't exist. But I like your thinking. I do like your thinking. Just unfortunately, we've kind of tried everything that you've said. But anyway. And you see how it's got other particles here, but you can't actually see them. Wait a minute, what's this? What's that over there? What's this over here? Is that smoke? What in the hell is that? That's goddamn smoke. That's the smoke in the embers. What the fuck are they doing over there? If I accidentally hit a, like, if I hit a stupid button. Yeah, exactly, Cyber Shell Rev. Except I'm not laughing my ass off. I'm going, where's the frickin' smoke? Right. Right, come on. Right, wait a minute. Right, where are you, smoke? What's it doing away? Right, what's the bloody smoke doing away over there? Right, how did the smoke get way over there? How did that happen? Unless... You see, I might have actually hit the wrong button because I did it earlier. I don't think the cylinder locations... Yeah, we could have a look. Nah, see, it's... Give me a second, guys. I think I'm giving away the secret truth that I'm not awfully good at. The two things that I'm not awfully good at, well, two of the things, in the long list of things that I'm not good at is particle systems and frickin' materials. Right, so that looks okay to me. Right, even though I can't actually see it because my glasses are all steamed up because of the humidity. That's my excuse anyway. Right. You know what I would actually consider doing here? Rather than try and troubleshoot this? Look at that. Right. It is the proper material. What are you talking about, Bogdan? Right, so the other thing... Right. We're going with that. Right. And we're going with that. Okay. And there we go. You see, I'm glad I didn't delete that and try that again. Now, yeah, after much gnashing of teeth. But we got there. Look at that. And look at that, we get fire, look at that. Look at the reflection. Look at the fieriness. How's that for how's that for fieriness? Right? You've got to see there's a lot of fire going on. Look at that. And that was all to get the light to work, right? It's looking pretty good now, I'd say. See, the thing is that these aren't going to be open, right? It's actually going to go in here, in this fire, right? Yeah, you can step on it if you want. Right, but the thing is, the reason that we actually made that is because it's going to go in here and replace this one, right? Because this is the Cascade version, right? And the Cascade one, even though it's got a light thing, it doesn't actually, you can see that it doesn't actually cast any light, right? But this one, you can see that it does. Right? Do you think that's looking good? You guys? Think that's looking good, or do you think it's looking crap? What happened there? I pressed a button there. I think I broke it. Why didn't I add a point light? Because it's not as good. Where did it go? Where did my fire go? Did I press a button and delete it or something? Switch it off or do something stupid? Apparently not. I didn't think it did. Yeah, I wanted the light to bounce off, you know, and not give you a flat light. I wanted it to come off the particles to be like realistic. But apparently realistic is going to try my patience to the maximum here. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, except they're not. Yeah, but that's... Why is it doing that? Right, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm going to close that. Right. Where's the bloody fire? Oh God. This is the times where you hate Unreal Engine, when it starts being silly. When it starts playing silly buggers with you. Yeah, so close and yet so far. Right, you can be local too. Let's make everything local. If we're going to go local, let's go local. Right, you know, you can be local. You can be local. Well, it was working a minute ago. Look, this is red now. Don't know if... right, try not to swear. Try not to swear. Right, we'll delete that. Why is this one yellow and the rest aren't? Open and focus parent. Right, why is this one red? Yeah, I know, but I don't know why. Right, so if I take fire, do that, right? I take that one off. Woohoo, we now get absolutely sod all. Right, well, maybe I'm not understanding this right. So if that was the case, if I switch that on, right, so that's, how do you solo it? Or how do you not solo it? Not isolated. Right, so that was the button I pressed, right? Holy shit. Unreal Engine shortcut buttons. Making me shit myself. Right, so the reason, okay, right, we'll ignore that last half an hour. Right, that last half hour didn't happen, obviously. Right, the reason that we're doing it is for, like, see how, you see? So we're getting the reflections of the light. Right, thank you, Bogdan. That would have that would have had me for the rest of the night, by the way. I would have completely been freaking out. I would have probably recreated the whole thing again. Right, but the reason that we want it is to get the reflections you see on the hands and stuff. And the reflections are coming for the particles. So it looks cool. Because looking cool is the most important part, obviously. Right? Well, it is to half the gamers that you meet, so... So, anyway, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. If you enjoy watching me struggle with particles, as well as materials, as well as whatever it is I'm doing at the time, hit like and subscribe. And you'll find loads of links as well. Ah, quit. It's all bots again. Well, there's a few people. Bogdan, Zorke, Cybershell, you. That's 5, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to go in a minute. Right. Not necessarily. Hi, Kaltazud. It might be the way to go, but what you can do is there is a LOD type of thing that you can do with Niagara, right? And basically what it does is it drops the spawn rate down. Instead of dropping the LOD, you drop the spawn rate. Okay? And then what basically you can do from there is, if the player's nowhere near it, then it basically spawns nothing anyway, right? Which means that it's not doing any light. But yeah, I get your point. Which I have done before. I've got a nice flickery light, and I've done actually, there's a video on it where I try to do like where it does like a random flickery light thing that's not uniform, which makes it kind of look alright. Anyway, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. Check out the links in the description for stuff. Discord, Patreon, my previous game on Steam, Kickstarter preview, website, blah blah blah. And I shall be back in a few minutes. Right, we are back. So my normal process here would be this, okay? Right. We'll do a bit of blueprint stuff just to get this to work or not, right? So we've got this Niagara system, right? And we don't want it to auto-activate, right? So this would be my normal. Probably what I'd do is put a few of these in, but just to keep Bogdan happy, right? That I do take these things into consideration, considering we've done about a week's worth of optimization just the other week. What I would normally do in this case is I'd open up my pawn, right, and I've got a special series of buttons where basically I can piss about. What's my PC setup? It's quite old. 16 gig i5 4690 overclocked, 2980 Ti's overclocked, even though that doesn't make any difference, and it's all water cooled. And it's about 7 years old. At the time it was super duper fast. Not anymore. Right, so we've got our key here, which is the 0, I think. Don't know if that's the O or the 0. We're going to go for the O, right? So, get... It's not an actor. It's not an actor. What is it? Is it still going to get it? That's the question. We can try it. Get actor. Of class. Am I going to turn this into a bloody actor? Yeah, it's not going to get a particle system, right? As that. So we can save that for now. Right, we'll delete that. We'll get our fire. We'll go to our cascade system, find browse to there. And that's got it attached. Right, so we want to get new blueprint 1. Right. We could just no, okay, whatever. Right, we're going to do that. Get actor to the class. New blueprint 1. Activate Niagara. Right. have to open up that blueprint actually. Right, Niagara. Don't auto activate. Save that. Right. Then we're going to have to run it in standalone to get a proper idea. This is to keep Bogdan happy. Right, we can't let him think I'm an amateur at this, even though he probably thinks I am already. What's the betting? Something else will go wrong here. Answers on a postcard. Right. So, our beautiful Niagara system is switched off. So, we're going to do stat FPS. And we're going to do stat unit. Right, and that gives us our draw speeds, etc. And now, so we're sitting at 22 milliseconds, and if we hit that, we're still at 22 milliseconds. So the fire had absolutely no effect on performance. And it's actually went down now to 20 to 19, so we're getting faster performance. And there we go. It's up to 25, but this can be because of weather, because of various other stuff, right? You'll notice that we went away from it and it hasn't really dropped, right? Now it is still creating reflections on that post that you can see in the background, right? But it's not having an effect on our frame rate otherwise. Now, one must remember here as well that these fires are only going to last a certain amount of time. Right? So, the fires, when you put them on, they take up fuel. And basically they gradually run out unless you put more fuel in, like logs or whatever. So there'll only be a certain amount that'll be actually working at any one time. So basically we've tested it, or given it an initial test, to find out if it's going to affect our frame rate. Now what we could do is we could get a load of them. Right, now we are going to have to change our code slightly, obviously. Right, so we're going to be deleting that, and we're going to be doing actors of class right, We could flip-flop this as well, to switch them off. Yeah, let's do that, right? Let's flip-flop them, just to be super cool about it. So, flap, flop. So, on the floppy, we're going to do that. I know, I could do all actors and then flippy floppy after, but what the heck. Right, and then we'll do for... This is just for test anyway, so it's not like it matters. So we flippy floppy on that, then we loopy, then we accidentally open that. Then we can do that. Then we can do that. Okay, so we're not going to do that. It's not going to like that. I'm going to activate. Oh. Yeah. That's because we'll not select a clash, you dump one. Right, where's our new blueprint? There it's there. Right. And it's not going to do that. That's probably because we've done that before the loop, right? We'll drag that back out again. Yeah, I get your point, Bogdan. I certainly get your point. But we're just having fun. It's Saturday night. So we'll just do this anyway. Right? Just for a laugh. Activate Niagara. Right. And we can just duplicate that because we're lazy. And deactivate. Process. Well, that's one way of calling it something, I suppose. Ah, bug off. We're not working in C++ tonight. Thank you very much. Right. So, yeah, we can do this now. And guys, just a little bit of information. If a couple of you were to, dare I say it, subscribe, it would be my best ever day for gaining subscribers. No pressure, just saying. Right, that. Right. So we do stat FPS unit. You'll notice now, for some, yeah. See, I think, right, I think this house is a problem, right? If you look at these, look at our frame rate goes up, way up, right? I mean, I know there's not much out there, but there's what should be oof, take that. Getting better at shooting. Yeah, some of the new guys will not have seen this, right? Where'd the bloody deer go? How can I hunt for deer if I can't blooming see them? There's one. Poof. Arrow cam. Right, now that actually should create a hole in the snow, but we've not got that set up yet. Where's the other deer? There, it's there. Poof. See ya. See you, dear. Right, now that's not the end of it, by the way, because what you can do now is, for those who haven't seen this before, we can skin it. Right, now this all actually works, right? Don't be fooled, and it gives us food. And we can actually eat that food. If we look in our inventory, it's in our inventory. Fabulous. Right, and we've got a weird weather lighting system going on. Just for those who haven't seen it, we can craft, we can store stuff, but most importantly right now, we can switch on or we can switch them off. Right, now we're taking note of our, it's making zero difference to our frame rate. Right? Or the difference is, shall we say it, negligible. Right, we can switch them on and off, that's cool. Right, let's go and eat something. Okay, let's bump into the storage because I can't see shit. Right, let's go and get some food. There's food. Where'd the food go? Look at that, it's pretty cool actually, isn't it? I think it might actually have to get, we might actually have to give that a bit more oomph. Right, there's our food, right? So watch our eatery, watch our little eat thing going up. Ooh, there it goes up. Ooh, cool. Right, but I would say that's looking pretty good. Anybody got any comments? Anybody kind of not liking that? Or any way I could... We need some more oof, do you think? Some more lighty oof, I believe, would be the proper oof to give it. So let's try and give it more lighty oof. Not much, right? But it just does need a bit more lighty oof. Nah, you can't die on a fire. Not at the moment, anyway. Right, so we'll go for 2. Double oof. So that gives us double oof, right? So we've got to see what double oof actually does. Right, I'm going to turn this back onto the editor, right? Just cause we've done our preliminary testing, right? So do we? Yep, I'm thinking that's pretty good. Right, don't know why I did that. I'm pressing buttons. We're definitely liking that. I don't know why it goes up her arm like that. I think there must be something to do with her. I mean, it definitely doesn't look... I'm not too happy about the way that it's interacting with that armour. At certain angles, it's kind of weird. Smoke coming... There's smoke coming out of the fire. What do you think that is? I get worried when you say things like that. I'm like, something weird's going on. Right, so that's looking good, right? So we'll go and shoot some shit. This is where you see me become a really bad shot, probably. I did hit it. Right. Oh, and look at that. What's that guy doing there? Oh, it must be spawn time. Right, see when it hits darkness, twilight, it spawns the monsters. Which is why... Right? Now, if the monster can see me, or I can see it, it's not going to go to arrow cam. Right? So I'm going to have to shoot this one. Right? No, I don't use line trace. I actually use bullet trajectory. Right, and obviously now I can't shoot them because I can't bloody see them. It does a couple of things, Cyber Shell. Oh, I'm liking it. You see how she's lit up a bit better further away now? Yeah, it looks nice and warm, doesn't it? Right, give me a second. Right, 2 people subscribed, thank you very much. And that's probably, that is my best day, right? That's, believe it or not, 16 new subscribers today. which is pretty phenomenal for me. Right, you can see there, right, we like that. It's good. Right, it uses a couple of different things, right? Because of bullet cam or arrow cam, right? What it does is it fires out a prediction path first, right? And if that hits like if that hits a piece of wildlife, then it triggers the arrow cam, right? If you like, I'll show you, right? If it doesn't hit wildlife, then it won't trigger the arrow cam. Okay, now also if you have a monster that can see you, it also will not trigger arrow cam, right? Because you don't want basically to be stuck in arrow cam if you're about to be attacked by a monster, right? So it is a logical, right? So once that's dead, it'll allow arrow cam to switch on, right? So what it does is it fires out a prediction path, right? And because it hit, obviously it's instantaneous and you don't see it, right? So it automatically goes on to arrow cam, right? And if you don't hit, like, it won't do the arrow cam, right? But if I hit that, it does the arrow cam. So what I do is I fire out the prediction first at the very same speed and velocity of the arrow, right? So basically, prediction path, then the arrow at the same velocity, right? And I use the prediction path only to find out if I need the arrow cam or not, right? So that's basically how it works. Now you will see that in the pawn, and I know that my colleague was mucking about with this. Right, we'll finish in a couple of minutes, quit, right? So when you fire the arrow, it does a projectile path by trace channel, right? Then it spawns the arrow. Then it checks to see if the actor that it's hit has this tag, i.e. switch on the arrow cam, right? And then basically the arrow, right, has a projectile thing on it. Yes, they do. They already do. Everything that walks about will leave trails in the snow, right? We've got it set up to do that, right? So in here, you'll notice that this has got a projectile movement, right? And a rotating movement as well. And the initial speed is 10,000. Obviously, if you're firing something else that's slower or faster, you'll adjust the speed to get the right sort of, you know, the right bullet drop. Okay, and then so because I know that this has got an initial speed and a max speed of 10,000, right, then you'll notice that when I do this, the launch velocity is 10,000 for the predicted path as well, right? So both of them are, both the arrow and the predicted path are going to follow the exact same path, and that's how I know that it's going to be accurate when it hits something, right? The arrow's got, if you attach a projectile movement to any item, right, you give it an initial speed and a max speed, right? And then you can tell it if it should bounce, all this sort of weird stuff. You tell it to simulate stuff. If it's a homing weapon, you can get it to do that. And you just basically tell it what speed it's going to go at, and that's the speed it will start at. And you can tell it whether it should go by velocity, whether it should go by gravity, etc, etc, right? If it should use those things. So basically you just go in here and add a component and add a projectile movement, and then I've got a rotating movement in there because at first it basically showed the arrow at the bottom of the arrow cam, and you could see it rotating on the, probably it would be on the Y, right? Well, I can tell you here what it's on, right? So it's rotating on the X minus 200, right? So basically if I simulate this, it'll fire off because it's got that projectile movement crap on it. But the thing is, if we actually found the arrow, right, which would be probably miles away, it would still be rotating around that axis, right? I don't know if you can probably activate this or not. Yeah, there's the auto activate, right? If I switch that off, right, compile that. So that can be your trigger to fire, right? Activate. Right, so you could have a dummy arrow or whatever it is in your bow, right? And when you activate, you basically spawn the new one, destroy the old one and activate it. Or you just spawn the arrow and when they fire, you just activate it, right? Loads of ways you can do it, right? But what I had was, apparently it's not going to rotate, but it did rotate. I've not got that to auto activate. I need to set that to auto activate, right? So if I compile that and simulate, you know, it would rotate. So as it's going through the air, it actually does that, even though you don't see it, right? But yeah, you can do all that, and as I said, with your projectile movement, you can just activate your projectile movement and that's going to fire it. Okay? If you have it as auto activate, when it spawns it automatically fires. Okay? So hopefully that's helped you with yours, Cyber Shell. I believe it was you that was asking about that. So the thing about it is, and to finish it off, Cyber Shell, you can't really use line traces for a projectile unless it's a laser, right? Yes, I would just make a version of it. Right. I would just make an interactable version of it, right, that's on the ground. So basically what you could do, if you wanted to pick the arrows off the ground, right, when the arrow hits, if it's not hit anything that breaks it, you can just replace it with an interactable version. Okay? Let me show you, because it's... Right, I'm going to apparently move the sodden landscape. Right, we're okay. I think it moved back. Right. Right, if I move this deer over here, right? I'll show you what I mean. Right. So, that deer, at this point, is a skeletal mesh. Okay? Now, I'm going to pause the game and show you something. Right? Now, there's stag and stag 2. Right? The other stag is obviously over on the other side. Right? But, where's my cursor go? Lost my cursor. Right. Now, if I take out my bow and arrow, right, and I shoot it, now you'll notice that, see, there's the arrow, okay? But that's because when I did the undos, it basically effect it up. Right, so we'll do that again. Right. Now at this point, until it dies, it is a skeletal mesh. Right? But now that it's dead, what we do is we swap it out at the same keyframe. You'll notice there's not 2 stags here anymore. Right? What you'll notice is that there is a... Where is it? Where is it? It is a dead animal stag. Right? And that is an interactable item. So basically, you can then walk up, right? You can walk up to it and interact with it, and it says skin, so we can go down and skin it. Okay, that turns into the food, and the food goes into your inventory. Okay, that's how that works. So hopefully that kind of describes what we just did there and what actually happens. Right, so basically, yeah, I get asked that every other day, which is why I made a video on it, which you will find on the channel. Right, basically, it's not ready yet as far as I'm concerned. There's too many issues. Okay, there's issues with speed, with bugs, with assets, with stuff. But if you watch my video, I've nothing against it, right? Because my video is called Why I Don't Use Unreal Engine 5 Yet, right? And if you're using it, as I explained in the video, if you're using it and you have no issues with it, then great, carry on. I've not got a problem with anybody using Unreal Engine 5, right? I am not protective of Unreal Engine 4.27 or whatever, right? It's just, I don't think it's ready yet. If you do, then great. That fire does look good, doesn't it? It's more, it's like using an operating system, right? A lot of people don't use like the brand newest version of Windows or Linux or whatever when it first comes out, because there's always issues with it, right? It's much easier to get along with, like at this point, Windows 10 or whatever it is. I think it's Windows 10, right? Because the bugs have been ironed out, it's had a million updates, all the bugs have been reported, they've all been fixed, everything's great. Okay, now a lot of people like using the new version because it might have some new features like Nanite, Lumen. If those are really important to your project, then obviously you're going to use Unreal Engine 5, right? But, as I said, it's a preference thing. I don't know why my dog just squealed. He was just walking about. I thought he was electrocuted or something there, but there's nothing on, and he wasn't on any cables. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Yeti Nation. And that fire cost me all afternoon with that sodden light. But yeah, it's beginning to look good. That smoke needs to come down a bit, but other than that, as I said, it's up to the individual what they're happy with, you know. If you use a lot of marketplace assets, then you're probably going to have problems, because if they're not updated for Unreal UE5, then you ain't using those assets, probably. Right? Or if you're using a few, they might have all been updated by now. I don't know. But as I said, as far as we considered it about when we were optimizing if we're going to go to Unreal Engine 5, purely for streaming purposes, right? Because apparently it's easier to stream levels, right? So I haven't really used it in a while, But as I said, if you guys have used it and have had no problems, then yeah, carry on. Carry on, because what you got to remember is there's not that much blooming difference anyway, because it's 95% 4.27, right, with a new interface, Lumen and Nanite, right, and a few updates, but that's it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe, helps a lot. We've had a record day for subscribers, so thank you everybody that's hit that subscribe button today. And the old guard who are back, Cybershell, Quit Abandoned. If I forgot who's been in tonight, then I'm sorry, I don't mean it as a slate on you, certainly not. It'll get better, Yeti Nation, that's the thing, you know. So, the issues you're having this week, you might not have in 2 weeks' time, or whatever. But, I mean, there's nothing to stop you from going to 4.27, mucking around with that until, you know, everybody says that Unreal Engine 5 is now stable, etc. Or, as Cybershell just said, you know, if it seems to work really well for just VFX, then yeah, go for it, man. But anyway, check out the description for links to the Discord, my personal Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam, which is still only $1. The Kickstarter preview and our website. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 PM Central, as usual. Hopefully we'll have something else to do rather than this blooming fire particle system. And thanks again for watching. Bye bye for now.